Definitely don't visit covid.gov. Teehee. Europe 24. Pissed off. When I look at this account, I cannot help but wonder what happened to dignified approach of the electorate. To be serious, respectful tone of politics where clarity and professionalism once mattered. Now all I see is the voice of a teenager behind the account of one of the world's most serious institutions. What happened to us? Ha 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 ha. By Europe 24. They're fucking mad, dude. They're fucking mad. They're mad because they're just having fun on the account and just being serious. Like they're not being like so like stuck up serious. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. I'd rather have the information like straight up and plain. And let's be real. This is the language that people speak now. This is the language of the people. Did I see Bill Maher talk about this? No, Methylene. Can you link me? Dude. Dude, it's like that's how people talk nowadays. You know what I mean? That's like the everyday people language. I love it, honestly. Anyway, let's actually take a look at it. Translation, I missed the dog and pony show. Oh man. What a time to be alive. Where the White House can make a post, make some European news outlet upset. I don't even know what this is. Is this like an actual thing? It's just a rando. I guess it's a rando. Actually, dude, okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. This rando is top tweet reply on the White House. It's like what a time to be alive. The White House speaks directly to the people, and the people bitch directly back. It's actually amazing. Like. Dude, the picture, oh my god. Dude, this picture is anime as fuck. What the hell? Isn't this anime as fuck? Oh my god. The proximal origin of SARS-CoV-2 publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that COVID-19 originated naturally. The virus possesses a biological characteristic that is not found in nature. No. Hold up, chat. Hold up. Are you telling me that the virus, of which there is a lab that they study and they do research on by mutating it, you're telling me that place had a lab leak when the virus came from there? Nah. No way. All right, let's see it.
All right, here we are with the host of the Ezra Klein Show podcast and the co-author of the book Abundance, Ezra Klein. And he writes the weekly Dish newsletter and hosts the podcast, The Dishcast with Andrew Sullivan. Andrew Sullivan. Okay, here are the questions. Andrew, what do you think of news that British intelligence knew COVID was a lab leak in 2020 and officially ignored their report?
Not just knew, aided a 95% certainty. Same with the German intelligence service. March 2020.
Did you get the COVID jab, Leaf? Yeah, what do you think? My hair is blue.
There's a new book out called COVID.
No, I have bad lungs, so I had to get it.
COVID's Wake. I was reading it this last couple of weeks, and the core paper that killed off any idea that this was a lab leak in China, the proximal origin paper, which was produced with Fauci and Collins of the NIH and NIAID, helping it along, was a lie, a conscious lie. That the people who looked at it, we now have their emails, are saying in the very first days of looking at the virus, this looks very man-made to us. This is so friggin' obvious this is man-made.
I knew it. It's all men's fault. Toxic masculinity.
Well, so friggin' obvious, one of them said. And then they wrote the report saying there was no evidence that this was made in a lab. The question is why?
There it is.
Why would they lie to us about that? And they did.
Well, I can give you one answer, the New York Times. The New York Times said any questioning of this being from a lab was racist, which always struck me as odd.
How do you fall that hard for propaganda? Like, how does that happen? Like, how do you fall so hard for it that, like, if a virus comes from China, you can't say that if the virus originates in Wuhan, you can't call it the Wuhan, like, flu. Where did that come from? Like, how is...
Odd, because it seems much
It's actually insane.
Wow, these people are eating bats.
I know.
I petition Trump right now rename COVID. Like you can rename the Gulf of America, right? The Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Great. How about we call it the Kung Flu? Just do it. Just rename it. You have the power. You have the power.
I mean, it's just one example, but a good example of why people lost faith in the left, because they do stupid things like that. Not to be an I told you so, but from the very beginning, I was saying this shouldn't even be political, but it's at least a 50-50 it came from the lab, and that in 50
and that's the problem, is it wasn't even, so like back then, it wasn't even an issue of like, oh, it for sure came from a lab. That's the problem. No, the fact is you couldn't even talk about it. You couldn't even like hypothesize that it came from a lab. Like you were considered like persona non grata if you actually said that it's possible that it came from a lab. If like you even dared to make that like a one of your possible hypotheses, then you got freaking blasted. It was actually crazy. Like, yeah, they banned people off of it. Like on, isn't that why they banned? That's why they banned Dan Bongino, right? Didn't he get banned for that? I'm pretty sure he did. Yep. Dan Bongino was permanently banned on YouTube for violating COVID-19 misinformation policy. Dude, that's so dangerous. And if you're wondering why people are like so against like the idea that the government can like claim something as misinformation and then ban all information or any theories of it online, it's for this reason. It's because it's so easy to corrupt and people are afraid of it. Which, like, as you see, like, you know, they wanted people banned because they had a different theory on like what happened. It's dystopian. Yeah, it is. It really is.
Wait, you mean in 2020, there was this thing that escaped from a lab in Wuhan, that started in Wuhan, and there was a lab in Wuhan that was studying it, and they didn't think that was connected?
No way.
And they blamed it on bats? Really? It just doesn't make any sense.
It makes a little bit more sense.
You can gaslight people so easily.
Yes. I don't think the Democrats are so much as fault as scientists who went along with this, knowing better. It's their integrity.
You know, they always say, like, trust the science. The problem is scientists lie a lot. That's the problem. So it's like, oh, trust the science. Like if a scientist says something, they're the authority on it. So they're just automatically right. They lie all the fucking time. They lie to your face all the fucking time. So, and this has been proven throughout history. This has happened throughout history. And yeah, of course, there's scientists that tell the truth, obviously. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about like, oh, well, saying that you shouldn't listen to any scientist ever. Like, what, are you crazy? No, obviously, like, there are people that have an authority and there are people that don't lie about it. But we have to vet what they're saying. Trust isn't like, yes, queen, yes, queen, yes. That's not trust. Trust but verify. Exactly, Dan Tran. And that's why people don't trust them. Is because them like basically telling you that like whatever they say is like they know more than you, therefore that's how it is. When they've gotten so much shit wrong. You remember the tetraethyl lead guy? Oh yeah, this is great. Look at me sniffing it. I'm fine, guys. Like, you remember this guy? Yeah. I mean, the idea that scientists are infallible and they don't lie is ridiculous. So obviously, when they say something, it doesn't mean that it's reality.
I'm concerned about to actually lie and distort what they could see with their own eyes because they were afraid of politics. The other question is this. This lab was a gain of function lab. That means they were creating viruses, dangerous viruses, to figure out how to protect you from them. This gain of function research was always dangerous. Everyone knew it was dangerous. Long time ago, you go back to 2015, you will find a big meeting in London where they say there's one lab in the world most likely to have a problem with this, Wuhan. Do you know who was the biggest supporter of gain-of-function research for the last 30 years? Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci.
Hold on. I actually sent this to somebody. Hold on. Oh my God, guys. If you want to see like the fucking level, the state of humanity, let me show you the state of humanity right here, guys. I actually saved it. I actually saved this freaking thread because it was so amazing. Look at this. Look at the glazing, guys. The glazing is insane. Dr. Fauci is the most respected surgeon in the country. Delete this. And he was never a surgeon, nor did he treat any patients ever, spelled wrong, bureaucrat. He treated millions during COVID when he invented the vaccine. Dude, the glazing is unreal. Oh, God, dude. Does anybody remember, like, Does anyone remember the arc where people were sucking off Fauci and saying he was really hot? Like all the women, like online, like in their stupid like day shows, their day talk shows, were all swooning over this guy. It was fucking weird. Yeah, it was weird.
Now, remember that name. There's a reason he was given a pardon back to 2014. There is something very wrong going on here. You know?
Yeah, I also don't think he did it for enough. There's an argument to be made. There's an actual intellectual debate to be had.
Hi, Saber.
Should gain-of-function research be done? We want to get ahead of viruses. The other answer is, the other response would be, it's too dangerous. Because if it gets out, it's going to be bad. And that's what happened. But I don't think he's an evil guy, like some people do, who was trying to get rich off this.
No.
Okay, he just made the wrong call.
No,
Oh my Lord. The patron saint of staying at home. Saint Fauci. This is so fucking cringe, bro. This is unreal. Man.
He knew from the get-go that the Wuhan lab had security levels that were the average of a dentist's office. They should have been at the highest level imaginable. He knew that. Not only that,
he made the wrong call.
The NIH and NID had helped fund it.
Right. No.
So you don't want to go down in history as the person who helped develop the virus that killed millions of people. You want to go down as the one who saved millions of people. That was at stake, a reputational matter.
A piece of a lot of this, it seems insane to me, is we are now years after, whether man-made or not, one of the worst disasters in human history. And we are genuinely less prepared for the next one than the last one.
It's not one of the worst disasters in human history. I could name 100 worse ones.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But it was bad. I didn't enjoy it.
Let's not be perfect.
We don't know yet. We don't know what the full effects are yet. It's still pretty early. Like it was only like 5 years ago, right? We'll see.
Pandemic. Let's
Could
put it
have
that
been
way.
a lot worse.
As pandemics
Genuinely not my point on this. I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see that the Holocaust was worse than the pandemic. I think it's fine.
I'll just give you like a hypothetical case, right? So say that the vaccine or COVID or whatever had an impact of 2 IQ, where like it reduced IQ by 2%. I mean, not 2%, I guess 2. Let's just say 2, like a flat 2. You wouldn't really notice the effects of it immediately. Right. In fact, you might never notice the effects of it, but it did still affect humanity, right?
In other things, other countries, in this country, right?
In like a significantly negative way.
Something terrible.
In terms of progress.
Big bipartisan commissions that come up with a bunch of recommendations and try to create preparedness for next time. I sort of agree with you that we've gone way too far on airport security for too long, but we did a lot on things like biosecurity that made sense and actually did make us safer.
Yeah.
And we have anti-learned lessons, right? On the one hand, we had amazing success with things like Operation Warp Speed, and now you got RFK Jr. running HHS. On the other hand, a bunch of huge mistakes are made on things like lockdowns, and we're just arguing about them. We haven't put out, say, a new best practices, right? Gain-of-function research, which y'all were just talking about, it is just an argument. It's something I try to keep paying attention to, and they haven't come out with strong new guidelines. Bird flu, everybody I read who knows what they're talking about says we are in a terrible position on bird flu if it actually begins to mutate and make the jump. We just have never figured out a way to find a policy equilibrium here, as opposed to sort of keep rehaving the argument. The arguments are...
This just reminds me of like when I was a kid, like this guy in my class, he was like one of our friends. He came back from China. And he goes, I'm back from my trip from China. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I got something for all my friends. And he just had this jar. It was like a jar. It was just like a glass jar. And we were like, okay. And then he like opened the jar and he like pushed it in all our faces. He was like, Hong Kong air. You all have it was like bird flu. And he like ran away. And we were like, you fucking bitch.
Because everything
That's
gets
so funny.
politicized.
But everything gets politicized. We don't have the capacity to come to agreements. It's really...
Yeah.
Dude, we were so stupid when we were kids.
Prepared now.
But that's why the integrity of science is so important.
I agree with you on
If
that.
we don't trust the scientists, who on earth are we going to trust? And I really...
And that
I
means
really want to trust them. I want to trust them. I trusted Fauci during AIDS. I'm really upset that I don't think I can trust him on this. We need to have empirical, good, objective search for truth.
Right.
We have to all agree on it.
Yep.
What I hated was when he said, I am
We
the
need to
science.
search for truth.
That
Yep.
is so not what science is. You're right. We need to trust the science, which means we needed to hear all of the scientists and not shut out the people who weren't on the page.
Yep.
That's what bothered me about this.
Yep. True.
Okay.
True.
Should we expect to learn anything revelatory from the JFK files just released? Well, what do you mean expect?
All right. I guess that was it for that. So let's check this out now. Okay, the virus possesses a biological characteristic not found in nature. Data shows that COVID-19 cases stem from a single introduction into humans. This runs contrary to the previous pandemics where there were multiple spillover events. Wuhan is home to China. Yeah, dude, this is the thing. Wuhan is home to China's foremost SARS research lab. So we already talked about that. The Wuhan Institute of Virology researchers were sick with COVID-like symptoms in the fall of 2019, months before COVID-19 was discovered at the wet market. By nearly all measures of science, there was evidence of a natural origin. If there was evidence of a natural origin, it would have already surfaced, but it hasn't. Yep, there you go. A lab-related incident involving gain-of-function research is the most likely origin of COVID-19. No, really, the most likely. And again, not saying that it's 100% the case. We don't know that yet, but it is very likely, right? It makes sense. Like, if you think about it, logically, you're telling me that there's a lab who everyone was said, yo, this lab is sus. Their security sucks ass. And it's most likely if some shit is going to go down, it's going to go down in Wuhan. And then it happens to go down in Wuhan, specifically on the virus type that they research, with things that don't look natural at all from a single origin. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's right. They pardoned him. What was this pardon for? A full and condition. Wait, hold on, guys. Can a president pardon somebody without specifying the crime? Is that it was without specifying the charge being pardoned? Is that even possible? You can? Man, that's ridiculous. That's actually so crazy. A full and unconditional pardon for any offenses against the United States which he may have committed or taken part in from January 1, 2014. Yeah, this social distancing thing, the 6 feet apart social distancing recommendation shut down schools and small businesses. Dude, small businesses got absolutely fucked. Absolutely fucked from this. Not only that, but there were a lot of, at least in, I can speak from the point of view of California because I was in California at the time that this happened. They were fucking over a lot of small businesses. And basically the government was like, yeah, but you know what? Big, Hollywood, you're fine. So Hollywood got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. The actual politicians got to do whatever the fuck they wanted. Was it Nancy Pelosi that went to go get a haircut? She went to go get a haircut. She got a little private call. Or was that Pelosi? Hold on, let me check. It was definitely a California politician who basically was like, you can't go out and social distancing is really important. And then they called to get a haircut, basically. And then the only reason we found out is because the haircut place, I think, reported her for basically the haircut place bust her, basically, because she closed down all the businesses, and yet she made an appointment, and she was like, yeah, it's okay. Let me have the appointment.
Jackie, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continuing to face backlash tonight after getting her hair done indoors at a salon in San Francisco.
And you have to understand, they had full on you can't go out, you can't go to funerals. If one of your family members died during this time, you can't have a funeral. Sorry. No funerals, no weddings, none of that. Basically, you can't do anything.
After that salon released video of Pelosi not wearing her mask through the appointment. Speaker Pelosi claims that she was set up. Today, the owner of the salon said that claim is false. NBC Bears
Monday, something that the city says is
there it is. They have her on camera.
COVID restrictions tonight.
They have her on camera. And basically what happened was she said, was it Pelosi who said that? It was one of the politicians said, yeah, well, I have to look good because I'm a politician. And it was like, bro, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, I'm a public figure. I have to look good. Bro, you fucking serious? Yeah. Yeah, was that? Oh, that was the Chicago mayor. Okay, so sorry, I'm conflating two different people.
Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been adamant that people stay home and socially distance for weeks. But a social media post from the woman who cut her hair this weekend has some wondering if the mayor is saying one thing and doing another. CBS 2's Dana Kosloff is live outside City Hall. Dana, the post and haircut are drawing some criticism.
Yeah, it is, Erica, because of what some might perceive as a mixed message from the mayor. I want to show you that post. This is it right here. In it, the stylist thanks the mayor for allowing her to cut her hair Sunday. That's yesterday. And in the photo, the two are standing what appears to be inches apart from each other without masks. Mayor Lightfoot was asked about the photo, the haircut, whether that's acceptable social distancing, and any concerns it might be a matter of do as I say, don't do as I do.
We are trying to do the best that we can under
Just do what I'm saying, not what I'm doing.
Difficult circumstances. I am practicing social distancing. The woman who cut my hair had a mask, had gloves on. I'm practicing what I'm preaching and making sure. I don't typically take pictures these days, but we are trying to do everything we can to emphasize the messages around social distancing, washing your hands, staying at home. But I, as an elected official in the public face of the city, need to make sure that I am out there and visible through this crisis.
The city's public health.
Anyway, so this is just a tip of the iceberg, but like what happened there was businesses in California, like there were like restaurants, right, who were like shut down because of COVID. And so like what they did was they set up like outdoor seating, right? Because they're like saying like you can't be indoors and stuff, right? So they did outdoor seating for the restaurants because they're restaurants and like they're closed down, right? And what happened was this woman who owned a restaurant, she set up like in the parking lot, she set up like an eating area so that like she can keep her restaurant open, right? Oh, it's like open air, you know, like it's open air, like all the tables are 6 feet apart, like this is fine, right? They shut her ass down for that. And you want to know this is the insult to injury. They got her for doing that. They shut her down for doing that, and at the same time in the same parking lot. So like after they had shut her down, they were shooting a Hollywood film in the parking lot of that center. And they had tents set up and catering for all the actors. Like, dude. And she was like so pissed. She was like, "Are you guys fucking serious right now?" Yeah, essential business. Please understand. Yeah, basically. There was a news report on it. I gotta find it sometime. But yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, that's all of this shit and the mask mandates and everything. Let's see. Prolonged lockdowns cause immeasurable harm. Yeah, I mean, we're not even gonna know. I mean, it's gonna be a while before like this data comes in to see like how bad like this affected people. Andrew Cuomo failure. SMH. Anyway, like they have like a whole thing here. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna really go through it. It's kind of really long. I'll probably end up going through it later at a different time. But this is like the official like White House thing on it. And again, like, listen, I'm not anti-vax. We should just know like we should be more careful with them and make sure that they're tested. That's it. That's all it is, really. Well, the thing is they're not serious about it, right? Like, this also so another case coming out of California. Gavin Newsom said no parties, no nothing. You'll get in trouble if you do any of that. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom went and had a party at the French Laundry, which is like the Michelin star restaurant in Napa, California. Really expensive, kind of like high class like restaurant. And he had a party there, and it was caught on camera. So it's like they had all these rules for like, you know, all the normies, and then for them they're like, fuck it, like we'll do whatever we want, basically. Yeah, it was terrible, and it was really bad too, because it was just really bad for, you know, all of the small businesses and stuff. You know, because the small businesses can't really afford to be shut down for, you know, a prolonged period of time. Your body, not your choice, Delta Dynamics.